All right, let's continue then with the story, and we have the latest and certainly we have our reporters there at Enyobeni. You heard from Griselda Lewis there, but let's hear from Abongile Jantjies, who's also at Scenery Park for us. A very good afternoon to you, Abongile. Let's talk about then the preparations for tomorrow. One can only imagine, the sort of logistics that go into preparing for a mass funeral of 21 people.
Well, yes, indeed, Flo. That goes a lot of preparation, but particularly from the side of logistics. Earlier on in the morning, while I was at the venue, well, the marquee was they were still building it up, and they were saying that they're expecting to complete it at around 9 p.m. We're at the ICC now, where a meeting of the security cluster is currently underway. We've just seen the police minister, Bekele, also making his way into the ICC hotel, and with the president coming, and there's a lot of security that needs to be at place, particularly in that area of Scenery Park. It's really quite a township. It's known for dangerous activities that it's taken there, particularly of a criminal nature. And earlier on today too, there was a memorial service of two learners not too far from within here in East London, of two grade 12 learners, where its school held a memorial on behalf of them, Flo, and it was quite unbearable scene. The learners were crying their hearts out, especially when they read out the obituary of these learners. They say their teachers were saying that they were quite promising learners who they really had been their hopes that they would one day become successful in lives. But to tell us more about the preparations, I'm now joined by the spokesperson for community safety here in the Eastern Cape, Unathi Binqose. A very good afternoon to you, sir, and thanks for joining us. What's the latest with regards to the logistics?
Look, preparations are going ahead, and they are going well according to plan. And of course, given the high caliber of people that will be attending the funeral, some minor adjustments have got to be made to our security detail. We've heard with pleasure that the president will also be joining in coming to give some emotional support to the families. We know that it is a national tragedy, and it is quite humbling to us as the province to see the head of state coming to give emotional support to these families. It is something that we really, really welcome. And of course, we are planning for a kind of presidential kind of a funeral, and we are looking forward to hosting everyone who will be there. But our desperate plea is to the community members. We are grateful to you guys as the SABC and a whole lot of other broadcasters that are down here. We know that this funeral service will be carried live on TV, and we are urging community members to rather watch the funeral service at home. At least when they are there, they will get a bit more angles than they would when they are at the venue. And one of our major worries is that this funeral service is happening right in the community, and the venue is not that conducive. It is for that reason that we are making a desperate plea to community members to enjoy this funeral, rather to follow these funeral proceedings from the comfort of their homes.
And coming to another aspect of the logistics, what support has been given logistically to the affected families?
The affected families have been guaranteed transport from their homes, directly from their homes, straight to the venue of the mass funeral and back to their homes. It is a minimum of 10 individuals, rather a maximum of 10 individuals from each of the 21 families that will be given transport by the Department of Transport. Here we're talking about 210 family members alone, and we're talking about a whole lot of other government officials who will be attending the funeral. And like we have been saying, the community is really, really urged to rather follow the proceedings from the comfort of their homes. To understand that a lot of the families are not even burying their loved ones tomorrow. That will be happening over the weekend, so they can get another chance to give a proper farewell to their loved ones at their respective homes. So we are making that plea, but we are quite comfortable with how things are rolling out in terms of the preparations, and we are confident that everything will be ready come tomorrow morning, and we will be ready as the province to give a resounding farewell to these young souls that have departed.
Unathi, the funeral will come and go. The pain will still live in the lives of the affected families after the funeral, and what support is government yet to give to those families?
First of all, we need to sit down and see if by then we would have the post-mortem results, because there are many meetings that I've attended. One of the major bones of contention and one of the major things that communities and family members in particular have been complaining about is the delay in the results of the post-mortem. We understand the frustration. The degree of impatience is understandable, but we are pleading with our people, family members in particular, to rather give space to the investigators to do a thorough research as to what led to the death of these 21 souls. So first up, if the results do not come before the funeral, I mean, we're left with less than 24 hours rather before the funeral, so we'll definitely have to go back and account as to what led to the death of their children. And of course, we'll owe it to the public as well to tell them exactly what has claimed 21 young souls. Thereafter, there's got to be some emotional comfort that will be coming on the way of the communities, rather of their family members and the communities at large. But we've got a greater responsibility of ensuring that for our youngsters there is an alternative to alcohol when it comes to entertainment. We need to come together as government, we need to come together as community to find ways of channeling the energy of our young children towards something positive, a lot more positive than alcohol that has ultimately claimed their lives, as is the case here.
I thank you so much for your time, sir. Well, Flo, that was Unathi Binqose, the spokesperson for community safety here in the Eastern Cape, taking us through the logistical measures that have been taken by government in ensuring that the funeral is smooth flowing. Flo?
To you, let's catch up with you at a later stage. Of course, as you heard, their preparations are indeed underway, and high caliber dignitaries expected to be in attendance tomorrow, as was said there by Abongile's guests, including, of course, the police minister, as well as President Cyril Ramaphosa.